What's going on, my Latin ones? This is your boy Mash the MC back again, and today we're talking about Vegapunk, the mad scientist himself, and Kuma the Tyrant. More or less his devil fruit, but Kuma nonetheless. And if you guys are thinking about it, if we really sit down and get to the nitty-gritty of things, Vegapunk needs to show up in Wano. The man who's been a mystery for so long, whose name is literally lifted into the rafters. If there was a time for him to finally show up in the story, I think it would be right now. Wano is one of the biggest stages, supposed to be the biggest war this One Piece has ever seen, bigger than Marineford, and a lot of the storylines with Vegapunk's name lead to Wano. One of them being Kaido. His failed ancient giant experiments, or Kaido's numbers, are Vegapunk's failed ancient giant experiments. And also another failure, Momo's Devil Fruit was technically supposed to be a failure, but that was also Vegapunk's experiment on Kaido's lineage factor, and he made a fruit out of it. And also, when you think about how this whole thing started off on Punk Hazard, Vegapunk's old island, with Momo, Kinemon, and Law, like, it leads to Wano, and not to mention Sentomaru, supposed to be the protector of Vegapunk, who led the PX9s into battle. He looks like he's from Wano. Like, I don't know, he's dressed like almost like Odin was, but I mean, Vegapunk, it's time. But now let's get back into thinking about why Devil Fruits are so important in Wano. So, when we're talking about Punk Hazard and Caesar, and then also Doflamingo with the smile factories and Kaido's needing smiles to bolster his army, that all leads back to Vegapunk too. So, with the smiles giving a certain percent chance of becoming a gifter or a pleasurer or just a waiter, not only a lot of the smiles actually ended up being a failure, and all they did was make people become pleasurers or have the effects of devil fruits and not actually be able to have the abilities of a devil fruit. So one of the biggest reasons why I think Vegapunk has to show up in Wano is because of Chopper and the smiles. So yes, some of the gifters got the abilities that they were looking for, but the pleasurers and people like from Okiboritan and everywhere else, they got the leftovers. They got the bad apples. They have the side effects of eating a devil fruit and not being able to express true emotions and having to laugh all the time. So if Chopper's able to crack the code of devil fruits, right, and cure all the people, does that not mean he cracked the code of devil fruits? Does that not mean he would have made a drug or administer a drug that can take away the negative sides of a devil fruit being able to actually swim in water? Like, it makes sense. So if there was a place and time for Vegapunk to show up, it would be in Wano, so he can, alongside Chopper, create a cure for the smiles. Because if Chopper does it by himself, that is not only a huge feat for Chopper, but it's also playing into the part of like the stories like expand even further, because now the Straw Hats have a drug that the whole world would want, and being a drug to take away the negative side effect of the devil fruit. Sea prism stones don't affect them, falling in the water doesn't affect them. And if that's the case, I mean, like, Chopper is literally, his bounty should literally be higher than Luffy's, because that is probably one of the biggest feats, or one of the biggest things the world would want to get their hands on. Like, people want to get their hands on Sea Prism. Imagine getting the drug. It makes Sea Prism completely useless, and it gives them the Devil Fruit users the ability to fight in water with basically anyone with no repercussions. So I think Vegapunk needs to show up just so he, alongside Chopper, is able to do that, because if Chopper does it by himself, then all bets are off at that point for the Straw Hats. Since we're talking about devil fruits, let's jump over to our boy Kuma. Right. Last time we saw Kuma, he was at the reverie when Sabo was looking at him being basically straddled by a celestial dragon. Sabo did not like that. To his core, it hurt him. And we don't really know what happened at the reverie, but all we know is that Sabo did something, Vivi did something, and the king of something happened to Alabasta Kingdom. What we can concur is that Fujitora and Green Bull fought against the revolutionaries for a couple days, and Fujitora seems to be completely fine. We don't know what actually happened to Sabo. A lot of people are speculating that Sabo killed Kuma because he couldn't stand to see his friend like that, and Kuma was already, he was past the point of no return. So, if Kuma did die, right, where does his devil fruit go, right? Where is it going to end up? And I actually took a note down, right? So, everyone in the Straw Hats, the 4 devil fruit users in the Straw Hats, Luffy, Robin, Brook, and Chopper, they all correspond with numbers, right? I'm not really sure all the numbers. I think Gomu is 5 and 6. I'm not sure what the other ones are, but actually, I think I have it written down somewhere. Yes. So Go is 5, Mu is 6. Hito, he is 1, To is 10. Ha is 8, Na is 7, Yo is 4, and Mi is 3. So the thing about those numbers is all of them are 1 through 10. Every number from 1 through 10 is accounted for, and the only ones that aren't accounted for is 2, 9, and that is the devil fruit for Kuma, the 2, 9, the Paw fruit. So people are speculating that it's going to go somehow to the Straw Hats. When Vegapunk shows up to Wano, he's going to have Kuma's Devil Fruit, because not only did Vegapunk want to help the Straw Hats out, but he left Kuma there specifically to guard the Sunny, right? And one thing that we know about Vegapunk, right, is that he wanted perfection. Just how maybe Momo's Devil Fruit was truly a failure, and that's why he didn't want the government to get their hands on it, because it truly was a failure. So he's a guy who aimed for perfection. That's why he sent out Sentomaru with his PX9s to train them and like see what flaws he had and modify them. That's why the SSG, or the perfected, maybe the perfected version of the PX9, I think it's more than that, but the perfected PX9s will actually show up to the war too. So I think Vegapunk is going to actually bring along the Devil Fruit, the Paw Fruit, to Kuma's Devil Fruit, and bring it and give it to one of the Straw Hats. So him aiming for perfection, right? This leads me back to when Frankie was sent away by Kuma during the time skip, right? Kuma sent everyone away to a specific place for a reason. Frankie being sent to Vegapunk's old lab and being able to read his note, create a new metal, and basically perfect his body, and also go back and then modify the Sunny, that happened for a reason, right? So not only did I think Vegapunk told Kuma to send Frankie to that island, but I think he already knows the end value or the end result of what's going to happen to Kuma, because he was the one that was working on Kuma. He knows that Kuma was basically dead inside. He was how Kaido said Oden's body was dead after holding up the scabbards for an hour. He knew Kuma was dead. Like, he may be still alive, but physically the Kuma that we knew and loved was dead, right? So maybe he sent Frankie away to that island to perfect the cyborg form, because you know how he was creating PX9s to be perfect cyborgs to combat pirates for the government. So maybe he sent Frankie to that island to become a perfect cyborg, and then he takes the fruit over to Frankie and gives it to Frankie. I feel like out of all the Straw Hats that have don't have a fruit, I think it best fits Frankie. Like, I don't see Nami with the Paw fruit. It just doesn't like add it to her character. Like, when you think about cyborgs and tech, it all leads towards Frankie. I was also thinking that maybe their fruit can be given to the Sunny, but we don't know if when Chopper and him solved the Devil Fruit situation, if it's possible to not have the symptoms. So maybe the Sunny does eat the Devil Fruit, becomes a sentient being. Is it still affected by the Devil Fruit, negative properties of the Devil Fruit? Is it going to sink? Is it like powerless in water? Like, who knows? Because imagine the Sunny being a fighting vessel for the Straw Hats. I think that would be pretty cool. But we move. So like I said, not Nami. Usopp is a long-range fighter. He's a sniper. So the Paw Fruit, maybe he might be able to set off like paws, like paw bullets, like how Boa Hancock sends off like those kiss bullets. Maybe that's also a thing. Who else? Jinbei's like a fisherman. Like, he's not gonna get a Devil Fruit. It just wouldn't make sense. Like, it would almost like negate his whole character to begin with. He got a Devil Fruit. Maybe a new Straw Hat. Maybe Carrot eats it. Who knows? Or maybe Yamato. If Yamato joins the crew, Carrot or Yamato, maybe both. So like, there's not maybe Sanji and Zoro are Devil. I might be going to talk about those two, but Sanji and Zoro, like, Sanji got the Raid 2 for a reason. Like, he's not going to get the Devil Fruit, and if he does get a Devil Fruit, I would want it to actually be Marco's, but that's a whole different talk for a whole different day. Or Zoro getting the Paw Fruit, but I wouldn't want him to eat it. Yes, his storyline with Kuma would be interesting if he did eat the Paw Fruit, but I wouldn't want that one either. Like, Zoro eating the Paw Fruit, like, come on. Zoro's a swordsman. He's going to be the greatest swordsman this world's ever seen. So him eating a Devil Fruit would just be like pointless at that point. Or maybe his sword ate the Devil Fruit, but I mean, even that's pushing it. Even the Paw Fruit in a sword still doesn't really add much value to Zoro. So when you look at what Vegapunk can do for the story, right? So we had a lot of, like, even in Whole Cake Island, when we got more of the German 6-6, and that Vegapunk was working with Judge at one point, and that they were perfecting the lineage factor, Judge being able to clone people, Vegapunk now being able to clone Devil Fruits. So a lot of things lead to Vegapunk showing up in Wano. And now when you think about also Orochi wanted to meet with Vegapunk. And originally CP0, they didn't want to do it, but then when you think about him working with them and also Kaido being behind them, they're like, okay, we basically have no choice. So maybe after the reverie, Vegapunk was contacted to still come to Wano. And then, but what we don't know, what Vegapunk doesn't know, is that Orochi is technically dead right now and was killed by Kaido, and that Kaido defected. Yes, CP0 knows that, but I don't think they're actually able to communicate back with everyone else. Right now, they're basically in the room playing on the go board, just chilling by themselves. Like, they're like waiting for the pirates to take each other out. And if that's the case, so that's why a lot of people are assuming that Vegapunk shows up to Wano, because the CP9 or CP0 is so calm right now, and they're just waiting for the pirates that take each other out. And after that, that's when the outside force, because remember how this is supposed to be like Japan in the Edo time period, right? And the Japan's borders were opened by an outside force, by a Western force. So the Western force being like the world government coming in when the pirates are almost done taking each other out, and that's like also taking part in the next big bad that was talked about by the creative director of One Piece, saying that after they defeat Kaido, the next big bad would show up, and maybe it's actually the world government. And if that happens, I feel that it almost is like a rock situation, like not the rocks, but God Valley situation, because it's not. We don't know what God Valley is. I had a different video for that one. I will leave a description in the. I'll leave a tag to that video in the description. But when you think about God Valley, right, with Rocks and Rocks going against Roger and Garp, when you think about Wano, it would almost be like, depending on how it plays out, maybe the government ends up teaming up with Luffy to take down the likes of not the Rocks pirates, but Kaido and Big Mom, because if they do win this raid and they do leave and able to go out into the world with Onigashima being planted in the flower capital and then go get an ancient weapon, there will be the strongest force that probably they have ever seen before. Maybe like the reunion of the Rocks pirates, but remember, the Rocks pirates were strong, but it was still a weak Kaido. It was Kaido before Kaido actually had the Devil Fruit. It was probably a young Big Mom. Big Mom probably didn't have as strong of the homies that she does now. She maybe had a Napoleon and Zeus and Prometheus, but now Hera is supposed to be stronger than Zeus, and they also be able to do combo attacks, so that does level up a little bit. We don't know how strong. Maybe Kaido, King is just as strong as Kaido was. I wouldn't say Queen is as strong as Shiki or Wang Ji, but you never know. But you also have Big Mom's pirates. You also have Katakuri. You also have Smoothie. You also have Cracker. You also have Oven. You still have those other pirates to fight alongside them. So we don't really know how strong the Rocks pirates are or how strong the alliance between Kaido and Big Mom are compared to them. So Vegapunk showing up in Wano, maybe with the SSG to team up to take down Kaido and Big Mom, I think that's actually a likely situation, because Wano or the Wano arc or the Wano war is supposed to be bigger than Marineford, right? And we're still waiting for that surprise force to pop up. Everyone we actually, when we were reading it for the first time, you didn't expect Whitebeard to show up. You expected Luffy to get there and probably raise some hell and then save Ace. So now we got to think about an outside force coming, like the people from Impel Down showing up. What is that outside force? It has to be something. People are saying Shiki. Maybe Shiki's the other big bad he was talking about, or the world government and CP0's faction. So there's a lot to be seen. There's a lot to actually still happen. But I feel like Vegapunk, for the sole reason that the smile situation needs to be solved, and he has to show up. Because if he doesn't, and Chopper is able to stay there and solve the situation himself, that changes the whole playing field for everyone. Because then now Chopper becomes one of the top tier figures in all of One Piece. Because maybe Chopper and Frankie do it without Vegapunk's help, and they solve the problem of the Devil Fruits, and then after that, they become like renowned pirates because they solve the negative side effects of Devil Fruits, and then that opens a whole different playing field for how Devil Fruit fighters are going to fight going forward. But maybe not all of them, but definitely how the Straw Hat pirates specifically fight going forward. But that's what I got for you guys today. So like I say at the end of every single video, leave a comment down below. I'm very interested to see what you guys think. But leave a like, hit that subscribe button and the bell button, and come back next time to remain enlightened, y'all. Peace.